In this video, you'll learn how to understand and manage frustration in trading if you have an attention span longer than a field mouse and actually can focus till the end. This is one of the most crucial elements of trading that often leads to the failure of most people, no matter what strategy they use. I'm here to share what I've learned about frustration after spending 5,000 hours on trading courses using the story of Joe Average, Caveman Bob, and Wobbly Knob Rob. Once you grasp this, it will feel like having an unfair advantage, a superpower you wish you had 5 years ago. I promise if you are willing to actually change the way you think about this, it will be very, very, very profitable for you. But first, let's identify the problem. Or the vernacular I use, the opportunity to improve. So this is the obstacle we get to overcome. Overcoming this obstacle is a privilege gifted to us. Can you honestly say that you didn't feel like doing this a few times whilst learning to trade? This is how I felt whenever I lost a trade, missed a trade, or lost a backtesting session. This is the emotional maturity of a child. This completely natural and rational behavior is keeping most people poor. So let me ask you, what was your first reaction when you lost your first trade, or blew your first account, or just thought that the market would go one way and then it did completely the opposite, or when you expected to do something and you just simply couldn't do it? If you were upset or frustrated by any of the things above, you're a perfectly well-functioning human being. One does not have control over how our body and mind perceives stimuli, but I will tell you the underlying reason you were upset. You did not get what you wanted. Like a 10-year-old child not getting a lollipop, your expectation was not met. But how can you practice to handle this like a pro in trading? Just talking about it and just listening to advice about it will not help you, I promise. You actually need to change the way your brain is naturally and logically wired to not be upset when losing huge amounts of cash. It goes against the evolution of the human brain. Let me show you how to do this. In this video, I'll provide practical exercises that go beyond just listening to a random YouTuber talk. These exercises are designed to help you actively practice managing the frustration that often comes with trading, as it's an integral part of anyone's journey to consistent profitability as a trader. So what do you think the underlying problem is? If you don't know, pay attention, because I actually already told you. By the way, I will actually tell you the story of Joe Average, Caveman Bob, and Wobbly Knob Rob soon. Just bear with me. Okay, so ready for the answer? The answer is desire. It's greed. It's the want or the don't want. The expectation is that if I spend time trading, I will make money. That's why everyone gets into trading. Nobody ever gets into trading for losing cash, and yet most people do lose their cash. QuantifiedStrategies.com, Forbes, and many others say that their research suggests that about 70 to 90% of traders lose money. People who lose anything that they were emotionally attached to will struggle, I can promise you that. But that's exactly why the market makers can extract cash out of people who are not trained in the ways of frustration. Be one with frustration. But where does this behavior of frustration come from? It comes from most things we developed as humans that make us humans. For example, okay, here's the story with Joe. This is Joe Average. He goes into work at 9 a.m. and comes home at 5 p.m. That's 8 hours. $20 an hour, so that's exactly $160 for the day. Even though he spends most of his time making coffee, pooping, Facebook and meetings. Great! Doesn't really matter what he does, he will get paid, unless he gets fired, of course. Now, trading flips this expectation on its head, as you expect to get paid exactly $160 for the day, but you lose twice as much instead. Imagine if Joe Average went into work and had to pay $320 for the privilege. How would he feel? How would you feel? Would you go in the next day? That's the brutal reality of trading. That's how trading works. We, as clever people who will beat the market, know not only to expect this, but to embrace it, make the most of it, laugh at it. Because if we have the courage to show up the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and do everything still the same, despite it having hurt us in the past, the market will reward you for your efforts. It will give you back your investment that you could also call a loss. Focus! Do not check Facebook! I'm worth face back! No! Pay attention, just 2 more examples, okay? Okay, this is Caveman Bob. He thinks, me go out, get fish, plenty in river. He plans for an easy day of fishing and imagines coming home with a netful. The river is empty today, no fish. Bob spends hours with nothing to show. River empty, no fish, me waste time. So you see, Bob thought he'd come back with fish only to find none. The disappointment is similar to expecting a profit, but instead watching your trades turn into losses. Okay, here's the third and last example of wannabe lover boy, Wobbly Knob Rob. Wobbly Knob Rob was a nervous young fellow who had a crush on a pretty girl at his university, Playful Peggy. All he wanted to do was ask her how her day was, hold her hand, and of course,
fuck her right in the pussy!
He was a horny young man. After thinking about her whilst masturbating, he took the courage and went up to her in the cafeteria whilst he spotted her sitting alone. He said,
Excuse me, hello Playful Peggy. I really like the thing you said in poetry class.
But he was rudely interrupted by Bob the Caveman from the previous story, who was a dumb cunt. He had stupid confidence and sat down with his arms around Playful Peggy and told Wobbly Knob Rob to go away. As it turns out, Bob the Caveman already fucked Playful Peggy right in the pussy, whilst a few of his similar testosterone alpha male friends watched. Wobbly Knob Rob realized Playful Peggy was only into Caveman Bob and his fellow orgy party of toxically masculine men. Defeated, Wobbly Knob Rob waddled back to his parents' house to beat on his Wobbly Rob Knob. Okay, now what are the common traits of the protagonist's feelings in the above stories? What does Joe Average, Caveman Bob, and Wobbly Knob Rob have in common? I'm actually asking you. Pause the video, write the answer down on a piece of paper, then press play. Okay, so the answer is... It was that our heroes' expectation was being disrespected by the world around them. They did not get what they wanted. So we already established that just watching a video will not fix this. So I'm going to give you 3 ways of practicing whatever this is. We can call it a fearful state of mind, frustration, being upset because we didn't get what we wanted, or just plain and simple losing money trading. I cannot say what will and will not work for you specifically, but here is what I would try if I were to learn this from scratch all over again. Number 1. Go and learn to consistently meditate. I recommend Headspace, Adi Ashanti, or the Diamond Wade Buddhist centers. There are around 700 in the world. It's not a religion, it's certainly not a faith where there is a so-called CEO type character being prayed to. It's literally just a bunch of friends hanging out, seeking a better way of life. One without the constant need to want things, or want things to be different than the way they are. A way of life where we learn to accept things more. Meditation has helped me immensely in my trading journey after I started doing it consistently. This made one of the biggest impacts for me, as well as practicing trading in a very specific way, which I will show you how to do in just a minute. But if meditation isn't for you, here is my next tip. Number 2. Keep a healthy lifestyle. You'll get frustrated less if your body is simply healthy. If you distract yourself with literally anything other than trading whilst learning to trade, you could be doing it better. I don't mean the necessary things like work and family time. I mean Netflix, your phone, cigarettes, sugar, alcohol, and eating junk food. Replace this dopamine-rich atmosphere with simply allowing yourself to be bored. Warning, you will feel the intense desire that you have to do the above things when you're bored. Resist it. It will be beneficial for you. Just sit there and be bored, my friends. That is when the magical ideas will come to you about trading. That is when the penny will drop. Stop chasing the constant, I want this, I don't want that cycle, and rise above. When was the last time you purposely took time out to be bored? Seriously. This works especially well if you do it right after studying, by the way. Every time you accept reality in your life, rather than run away from fear and towards pleasure, you will learn to flex your resilience muscles and start carving that new path in your neural pathways towards a healthier habit and a healthier life. Talking about replacing a dopamine-rich atmosphere, in my course, there's a type of video that I literally tell you to watch instead of TV from now on if you want to become a profitable trader as fast as humanly possible. And that brings us to our third and final thing that worked for me the most, and here's my shameless plug. This way of practicing getting rid of this harmful state of mind that we are talking about in this video was the single biggest factor in improving my trading to where it is today. I focused on this learning technique, which I haven't seen anywhere else. It shows you actual examples and price action in a way that is easy to consume, easy to understand, and therefore easy to make a habit out of. So number 3 is my course, ladies and gentlemen. I consider my course my life's work. It's actually super simple, but it took me 32 years to figure this out. But if you want to spend 5,000 hours to figure it out, fighting your way through scams and pointless, stupid strategies you don't know are pointless and stupid yet, why losing all of your money? Go right ahead, spend your own 10 years. Or, do the course, look at my live trades, and learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make them. By the way, my course will only be available once I reach 1,000 subscribers. Also, my course has very little text or speech, just practical examples about how to actually practice trading. Also, I'm actually the only trader I know of that trades and sells a course that consistently shares his broker statements. The broker statements will be available once I reach 1,000 subscribers. So there you have it, folks. Trading is a game of managing expectations, mastering patience, and embracing the frustration that comes with it. Remember, it's all about learning to accept that things will not always go your way, just like Joe Average, Caveman Bob, or Wobbly Knob Rob. To summarize, your key takeaway from this video are: meditate, live healthy, be bored, and take my course. Cheerio!